Hey everybody, it's your boy Non-Dairy, and today I'm here to discuss which map is the best to farm for new users in the blockchain game Lost Relics. In this video, I discuss that Isle of Arl'Endith is the best map to farm for new users that are members of the game, and Ashwoods is the best for non-members. Stick around to find out more on how I came to this conclusion. In order for me to have figured out which map was the best to farm, I decided to use the scientific method approach, which entailed me finding a problem in Lost Relics, current research out there for said problem, which is farming tips in the game, my hypothesis on which map was the best to run, the experiment I used to farm maps in the game, data from my dungeon runs in each map, and then finally the conclusion on which map was the best to farm. So with that being said, the first topic I'd like to talk about is the problem in Lost Relics. The problem is, as you can see here in the screenshot below, as of June 27th, Cliff has enabled over 5,000 game accounts. Then on July 5th, Cliff enabled yet another 3,000 game accounts. So that means 8,000 game accounts have been unlocked, which means that potentially 8,000 new users have entered the Lost Relics community. Now, as a new member of any game, there are users out there that try looking for guides, tips, and tricks, and ways of playing a game efficiently in the sense of shortening the amount of time they have to spend in the game. So with that being said, I decided to go check out what current research is out there for farming tips in Lost Relics. I decided to do a YouTube search, as you can see here in the screenshot below, for if there were any farming tips or gold making tips in Lost Relics. And what I came to find out was there were little to no guides available. This made me want to create a video and hence create the research topic of which dungeon is the best to farm for new users. So now that I covered the current research, now I want to tell you my hypothesis on which map was the best to farm, in my opinion. So in my opinion, prior to doing the experiment, my hypothesis was that the best dungeon to farm is Shallow Swamps. The reasons being that there are 5 fishing nodes, 4 scavenging nodes, the most amount of gold per map can be made in Shallow Swamps, and the fact that potions are expensive for new users, so farming this map is resourceful. So what I mean by the last bullet point is that new users, when they come into Lost Relics, don't really understand the dungeon mechanics and the monster mechanics, so they tend to leave dungeons with less health than seasoned players. So this leads to the idea of them needing healing resources, hence the fish, and hence the Alcon grass. Alcon grass can be used to craft potions through alchemy, creating a discrete health potion, which gives new users 700 health. So now that I've covered my hypothesis, I'd like to now go over the experiment. So for the experiment, I decided to run all level 1 through 3 sword maps. I believe that all new users can do level 1 through 3 sword maps given that they spend some time in the game, understand dungeon mechanics, and understand monster mechanics. I set conditions for myself for the experiments. I decided to do 10 runs per dungeon in order to get a good average depiction of what new users can expect in terms of level experience and gold experience. Then I decided to emulate the new user experience by only running with green weapons, the Ring of Rejuvenation, and food and potions. Finally, in order to depict the new user experience, I decided to only use common grade tools. The reason for common grade tools is to depict averages for how much skill experience they can get in things such as mining, woodcutting, fishing, or scavenging. So, now that I've covered my experiment, I'm going to now go over the data that I received from these dungeon maps, and the first dungeon I'll be covering is Forgotten Chambers. Forgotten Chambers is a level 1 sword dungeon map. It is the map that new users go to in order to understand the game Lost Relics and start out as a new user. So after doing 10 runs in Forgotten Chambers, I can see on average my runtime was 4 minutes and 53 seconds. I roughly got 600 level experience. I got about 160 gold and roughly 170 mining experience. The next 3 slides will cover level 2 sword dungeon maps, and the first one being Arcane Pits. Arcane Pits, the average runtime for me is 9 minutes and 36 seconds. I got a little over 1,500 experience, roughly 330 gold, and around 400 mining experience. So the next map I'll be talking about is Ash Woods. Ash Woods, my average runtime was 11 minutes and 4 seconds. I got around 1,900 experience, about 310 gold, roughly 220 scavenging experience, and approximately 230 woodcutting experience. And the final level 2 sword dungeon map out there in Lost Relics currently that I wish to talk about is Vemmin Desert. Vemmin Desert, after running it, I got just over 2100 experience, about 360 gold, about 360 scavenging experience, and approximately 160 mining experience. My average runtime for Vemmin Desert was 12 minutes and 55 seconds, so now that I've covered the level 2 sword dungeon maps, now I'll be covering the level 3 sword dungeon maps. First one being Shallow Swamps. The average runtime was 16 minutes and 5 seconds. I just got under 2400 level experience, around 520 gold, about 270 scavenging experience, and approximately 310 fishing experience. So now that I've covered Shallow Swamps, the last level 3 sword dungeon map I want to talk about is Isle of Arl'Endith. Isle of Arl'Endith, my average runtime was 15 minutes and 2 seconds. I roughly got 3000 level experience, about 470 gold, about 260 scavenging experience, and approximately 390 fishing experience. Now, I mentioned that this was the last one that I wanted to talk about for data purposes. For those of you guys that are current users in the game, you're probably thinking, non-dairy, you forgot about Vissum Vaults. Why didn't you talk about that one? Don't worry, I'll be talking about it in the next slide. Do not attempt. That's right, do not attempt Vissum Vaults. The reason is that I tried doing this map with green weapons and relics, and it doesn't help. The monsters there they come in huge mobs. The monsters there can do a lot of damage, and especially monsters there that can do potential burn damage. So even if you decide you want to do this map and prove me wrong, it's gonna take you too long if you're cautious. I did one run, and as a seasoned player that's played for over 4 months, it took me 20 minutes, and I got out of there with 200 health. So that's why I say it's a do not attempt for new users. You're probably going to die in that map, and I would hate for that to happen. So now that I've covered my data, I would now like to talk about the conclusion for which map I thought was the best for farming for new users. Now, here we go. As I said before in the introduction, Isle of Arl'Endith is the best map overall for new users to farm. The reasons are that the amount of XP you get is great, and what I mean by that is that you can get 3000 experience in 15 minutes. So that's really good if you're a new user and you're looking to level up quickly. The resources you receive are really good. You can get fish, which I said was a healing resource. If you cook it, it's a healing resource that can help new users not have to go buy at the Royal Emporium. Elk and grass you can also get from scavenging, and this can be used to make discrete health potions, as I stated before. You can level up 2 skills at the same time. You can level up fishing and you can level up scavenging, but you can possibly level up 4 skills if you take the elk and grass and craft it using alchemy, and you can also level up cooking if you decide to take the fish and cook it. So that's why I believe Isle of Arl'Endith is the best map overall, but mind you, you have to be a member of Lost Relics to be able to play this map. Being a member means having to buy a pendant. Now, for those of you guys that are non-members, don't worry, I got you guys covered. The best map to run for non-members is, as I said in the introduction again, Ash Woods. Ash Woods, the reasons for this being the best map is that it's available for non-members, so you do not have to pay for membership in the game. You get a great runtime and a decent amount of experience. Again, you can run this map in 9 minutes and get 1900 experience. That's great. So if you think about what type of skills you can get in here, you can get wood cutting and scavenging. 2 skills you can level up at the same time, possibly 3 if you can scavenge and get zesty 4 fruit, craft it using alchemy, and make them into energy potions. So now that I've covered which maps are the best to farm, now I'd like to wrap this up by saying, thank you so much for checking out my YouTube video. I really appreciate it, everybody. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It would mean so much to me. I also left my Twitch and Twitter here, which I'll be putting in the description below. I highly encourage you guys to hit the follow on Twitch and Twitter, but I want to emphasize Twitch more. I'm currently playing Lost Relics, so I would love for you guys to hit the follow, check me out on Twitch, and just tune in and just let me know what you thought about the video. That would mean the world to me. Like, it really would. So I mean, just tune in, let me know what you thought about the video. If you enjoy my content on Twitch, of course, feel free to stick around and ask any questions about the game, any tips and tricks that I may have for you. As you can see, I talk a lot, so I would really be able to help you out to an extensive amount of detail. So again, if you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Highly encourage you to hit the follow on Twitter, but check me out on Twitch too, of course. Now, with all that being said, thank you and have a great day.